Welcome. As you settle into a comfortable position, perhaps with a warm blanket or a soft pillow, allow your body to relax and your mind to gently wander. Tonight, we embark on a journey back to the Middle Ages, a time when faith and endurance intertwined in the lives of countless individuals. Imagine yourself walking alongside medieval pilgrims, feeling the rhythm of their steps, the weight of their burdens, and the quiet determination in their hearts. This is a story not just of distant history, but of the shared human experience. Why you wouldn't survive a day on a pilgrimage? Picture yourself in the early morning, the sky still holding the last whispers of night. You stand at the edge of a bustling town, the cobblestone streets now quiet, save for the distant clatter of carts and the soft murmur of voices. In your hand, you clutch a simple staff, worn leather sandals on your feet, and a satchel containing only the essentials, a bit of bread, a flask of water, and perhaps a prayer book. Before you stretches the long road ahead, winding through forests, across rivers, and over hills leading to a distant shrine. The air is cool, tinged with the earthy scent of dew on grass. As you begin your journey, the path feels solid beneath your feet, the rhythm of walking soothing. Yet with each step, the reality of the pilgrimage sets in. The road is uneven, sometimes muddy, and often treacherous. The weight of your pack becomes more pronounced, and your feet, though calloused, begin to ache. The landscape around you shifts from open fields to dense woods. The trees, tall and ancient, cast long shadows, and the silence is broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of a bird. Yet this solitude can be unsettling. The woods are known to harbor dangers, wild animals, and perhaps more ominously bandits who prey on lone travelers. As the day progresses, the sun climbs higher, its heat intensifying. The once refreshing breeze now feels like a furnace, and the water in your flask grows warm and less inviting. Hunger gnaws at your stomach, but the prospect of stopping to eat is complicated by the scarcity of safe places to rest. You pass through small villages, but the inhabitants are wary, and the inns are few and far between. Night begins to fall, and with it, a new set of challenges. The path becomes harder to discern, and the sounds of the night, crickets, rustling leaves, distant howls, serve as constant reminders of the wilderness surrounding you. Finding a place to sleep is no simple task. The ground is uneven, and the threat of robbers or wild animals makes any rest uneasy. In this moment, you realize the true nature of the pilgrimage. It's not just a journey to a physical destination, but a test of endurance, faith, and resilience. Each step, each hardship is a part of the spiritual trial. The discomforts, the dangers, the solitude, all are integral to the experience. As you lie down on the cold earth, the stars above offer a silent comfort. You close your eyes, not knowing what the next day will bring, but understanding that this journey, with all its trials, is a path towards something greater. Having felt the weight and weariness of the pilgrim's journey, we now turn our attention to a pivotal moment in the history of pilgrimage, the murder of Thomas Becket. This event not only shocked the medieval world, but also had profound implications for the relationship between church and crown. As we delve into this story, let us reflect on the complexities of faith, power, and martyrdom. The murder of Thomas Becket. When church versus crown turned bloody. As the evening settles in, imagine yourself walking through the bustling streets of medieval Canterbury. The air is filled with the sounds of merchants calling out their wares, the clatter of horses' hooves on cobblestones, and the murmur of townsfolk going about their daily routines. The towering spires of Canterbury Cathedral rise majestically in the distance, a symbol of the city's spiritual heart. Now, envision yourself entering the hallowed halls of the cathedral. The cool stone walls echo with the footsteps of pilgrims and clergy, and the scent of incense lingers in the air. The flickering light from stained glass windows casts colourful patterns on the floor, and the soft murmur of prayers fills the space. This sacred place, however, is about to become the site of a tragic and pivotal moment in history. In December 1170, Archbishop Thomas Becket, once a close confidant of King Henry II, found himself at odds with the monarch over the rights and privileges of the church. Their relationship had soured over time, culminating in a bitter dispute that saw Becket exiled to France. After years of tension, a fragile reconciliation was attempted, but it was short-lived. On December 29, 1170, 4 knights, acting on what they believed were the king's wishes, entered Canterbury Cathedral. The air was thick with anticipation as they approached Becket. In the sacred silence of the cathedral, the knights confronted the archbishop. Their swords gleamed in the dim light as they demanded his compliance. Becket, steadfast in his beliefs, refused to yield. The knights, perhaps emboldened by their perception of royal approval, drew their weapons. The clash of metal against metal resonated through the cathedral as they struck Becket down. His blood stained the stone floors, a stark contrast to the sanctity of the place. The once serene atmosphere was shattered, leaving behind a scene of chaos and sorrow. News of Becket's murder spread swiftly, sending shockwaves through England and beyond. The act was seen as a direct assault on the church's authority, and the repercussions were immediate. King Henry II, upon hearing of the event, was reportedly horrified. Whether he had directly ordered the act remains a subject of debate, but the consequences were undeniable. In the aftermath, Becket was hailed as a martyr. Pilgrims flocked to Canterbury, seeking solace and spiritual connection at his tomb. Miracles were attributed to his intercession, and his legacy as a defender of the church's rights was cemented. The cathedral, once a place of quiet reflection, had become a symbol of sacrifice and devotion. As you reflect on this chapter of history, consider the profound impact of Becket's unwavering commitment to his faith. His story serves as a reminder of the complexities of power, belief, and the enduring struggle for justice. Having explored the life and martyrdom of Thomas Becket, we now turn our attention to the fascinating world of sacred relics. These tangible connections to the divine have played a significant role in religious practices throughout history. In the next segment, we'll delve into the trade of saints' bones, examining the authenticity and significance of these revered artifacts. The bones of saints, sacred relics, and holy hoaxes. As you settle deeper into your rest, imagine the soft murmur of a distant chapel, the faint scent of incense mingling with the cool stone walls. In this tranquil setting, we turn our attention to a fascinating aspect of medieval spirituality, the veneration of relics. These tangible connections to the divine were believed to hold miraculous powers, drawing pilgrims from far and wide. Yet, beneath their sacred veneer, many relics were shrouded in mystery and, at times, deception. In the Middle Ages, relics, physical remains or personal effects of saints, were highly prized. They were considered not only sacred, but also powerful, capable of healing the sick, granting blessings, and interceding on behalf of the faithful. Churches and monasteries vied for possession of these holy objects, believing that their presence would elevate the sanctity of their institutions and attract pilgrims, and with them wealth and prestige. However, the authenticity of many relics was often questionable. The demand for sacred remains led to a thriving trade in bones, nails, and other body parts purportedly belonging to saints. Some relics were genuine, but many were fabricated or misattributed. For instance, a church might claim to possess the skull of St. Peter, only for it to be revealed later as a piece of pumice stone. Such instances were not uncommon, and the line between genuine and counterfeit relics was often blurred. The church, aware of the potential for deceit, attempted to regulate the relic trade. Councils decreed that relics should be authenticated by bishops and accompanied by certificates of authenticity. Yet enforcement was inconsistent, and the allure of possessing a revered relic often outweighed concerns about its legitimacy. The presence of a relic could transform a modest church into a pilgrimage destination, bringing with it not just spiritual significance, but also economic benefits. This trade in relics was not merely a religious phenomenon, but also a political one. Kings and rulers sought to acquire prestigious relics to legitimize their authority and demonstrate their piety. Wars were even fought over the possession of certain relics, underscoring their value beyond the spiritual realm. As you reflect on this, consider the complex interplay between faith, power, and human nature. The desire to connect with the divine, to possess a tangible piece of holiness, led to both genuine acts of devotion and opportunistic endeavors. In the quiet of the night, let these thoughts drift through your mind, like the soft rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze. Having explored the world of relics and their significance, we now turn our gaze inward to the monastic life. Behind the high walls of abbeys and monasteries, a different reality existed, a life of discipline, devotion, and at times, indulgence. In the next segment, we will delve into the daily lives of monks, uncovering the contrast between their public piety and private comforts. The abbey life, monks, silence, and secret luxuries. As you drift deeper into the rhythm of this journey, imagine yourself within the stone walls of a medieval abbey. The air is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of beeswax and aged wood. The cloistered corridors echo with the soft shuffle of sandals on flagstone floors, and the distant murmur of prayers reverberates through the vaulted ceilings. Here, in the quiet sanctity of monastic life, a world of discipline and devotion unfolds. The day begins before dawn, with the first bell summoning the monks to the office of vigils. The darkness of the early morning hours is pierced by the flickering light of candles as the monks gather in the chapel, their voices rising in unison in the ancient chants of the divine office. This pattern of prayer, work, and study is the foundation of their existence, a cycle that repeats day after day. After the morning prayers, the monks retire to their cells for a brief period of rest or personal reflection. The simplicity of their quarters is striking. Bare stone walls, a humble bed, and a small wooden desk. Yet within this austere setting, a rich tapestry of intellectual and spiritual life is woven. Many monks engage in reading or meditation, delving into the sacred texts that form the core of their studies. As the day progresses, the monks turn their attention to their various duties. Some work in the scriptorium, where manuscripts are copied with meticulous care. The scriptorium is a place of silence and concentration, the only sounds being the scratch of quills on parchment and the occasional turning of a page. The work is laborious and requires great skill, as each manuscript must be perfect in its transcription and illumination. Others tend to the abbey's gardens and fields, cultivating the land to provide sustenance for the community. The abbey is often self-sufficient, producing its own food, wine, and even beer. These agricultural endeavors are not merely practical. They are seen as acts of devotion, a way to serve God through labor. Despite the outward appearance of simplicity, the abbey is a place of subtle indulgence. The monks enjoy a diet that includes bread, cheese, vegetables, and fish, with meat reserved for special occasions or for the sick. Wine flows freely, and the abbey's cellars are well stocked. The monks also partake in leisure activities such as reading, writing, and occasionally music. The abbey's role extends beyond the spiritual. It serves as a center of learning and culture, preserving knowledge through the careful transcription of texts and the creation of illuminated manuscripts. The monks are not only custodians of faith, but also of history and knowledge, ensuring that the wisdom of the past is passed down to future generations. As the day draws to a close, the monks gather once more for the office of compline, the final prayer of the day. The chapel is bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, and the monks' voices blend in harmony, offering thanks for the day's labors and seeking peace for the night ahead. In this tranquil setting, the monks find a balance between work and rest, discipline and indulgence, silence and song. Their lives are a testament to the enduring power of faith and the quiet strength found in routine and reflection. As we conclude this journey through the medieval pilgrimage and monastic life, take a moment to reflect on the resilience and devotion of those who lived in these times. Their experiences, though distant, resonate with the universal themes of faith, perseverance, and the search for meaning. In the quiet of the night, let these reflections settle gently into your mind, bringing a sense of peace and connection to the past. May your dreams be filled with the serenity of the abbey and the steady rhythm of the pilgrim's journey.